Months of the year. Months of the year are important in any language, so I was looking forward to learning the months of the year in Czech. I thought, rather naively, that Czech might follow the pattern of many European Roman languages. Wrong. Czech is a Slavic language, which means it likes to do its own thing. It's a bit of a maverick.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
12 months equals 1 year, which is appropriate, because it's how long I took to learn these words. For the first 3 months I lived in Czech Republic, I couldn't tell people when my birthday was. In this video I'm going to compare the names of the months in English and Czech and decide which I think sound cooler. Let's start at the start, and in English that's January. January is named after the Roman god Janus.
Oh my God!
Janus was the god of gates and doors. That's a lot of responsibility. Taking care of an influential American rock band and the founder of Microsoft. At least now we know who Bill Gates prays to. Jim Morrison, a lot of responsibility too. You need a strong gate to keep him in at night.
Name, occupation?
Jim.
Over to Czech. And this one is very difficult to beat in terms of coolness, because the Czech word for January is Leden, coming from the root word lead, which means ice. You can't get much cooler than ice, guys. No one's cooler than the Iceman. And the actor Val Kilmer, who played Iceman, his birthday is on December 31st, the day before January begins, the day before the ice month begins. As Czechs like to call it, December 31st, Ice Eve. I'm afraid there's no contest in this one. It's ice cool versus door and gate guy. There's only one clear winner at this round, and that's Czech. Czech wins with Leden. It's 1-0 to Czech. In this competition, I'm using the rule of winner stays on. So this time, let's start with the Czech language. The Czech word for February is Unor, which comes from the root word nořit, which means to dive, or probably dip or submerge. The Czech people decided to name the second month of the year after the job of dipping icy bushes into water, which I think you'll agree is terrible work. So pretty clever of these Czech people to put it in the shortest month of the year. Let's see what English has for us. February comes from a Roman word Februarius, which was named after the Roman festival of purification, Febura. This took place on February 15th every year in Rome. At the festival, people sacrificed goats and dogs and ran around Rome dressed in goatskin thongs, slapping women who wanted to get pregnant. Wow, Rome. So this is not too difficult. It's a choice between a whole month of dipping icy bushes into water or one night running around Rome in a goatskin thong. English is back, baby. It's 1-1. Starting with the winner again of the last round, that was English. And we're on to the third month, March. March is quite special for me because it contains my birthday. Also, it's quite special for a lot of Irish people, as it contains our national day, St. Patrick's Day, where we celebrate Christianity coming to Ireland by wearing something green and going out and having a few drinks. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. These drinks have never and will never contain green beer. The word March comes from the Roman god Mars. Mars was the god of agriculture and war. The Romans considered March to be the first month of the year and thought this was the best time to start fighting and farming. Now, I'm not much into war, but farming is important. And Mars was also the name of a chocolate bar that was a staple of my diet as a young boy. Also, the movie Mars Attacks has some of the coolest aliens ever put on screen. Now let's see how Czech responds. The Czech word for March is Břzen. There are two main ideas where this word originates. Some people think it's from the birch tree, which in Czech is břiza. The birch tree begins to sprout in March. The other idea is that it originates from the word březost, which means female animals getting pregnant. It's not too difficult this time to declare the winner. The choice is between the god of war, farming and an ever-shrinking chocolate bar, or a pretty birch tree and animals getting some. I think this time it's strange to say, but the god of war loses. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Czech, you're back in the lead. Winner's out front again, and that's Czech. We're on to the fourth month, April. This one's not really a big mystery. The Czech word for April is Duben. It comes from the root word dub, which means oak. April is the time of year that the oak tree sprouts its leaves. Some people are big fans of this.
You an oak man? Oak's nice.
But April is also the time of Easter. And there's a festival in Czech Republic where Czech men get to go around dressed in goatskin thongs, slapping women with willow branches. Well, maybe not goatskin thongs, but while they're doing it, they do get to drink goat beer. Quite similar to that Roman festival I mentioned. The word April in English is believed to come from the Latin verb to open, representing the opening and blooming of flowers and fruits in this month. Or maybe from the Roman god Aphrodite, who had a festival in this month and who was usually always open and blooming. The word April does have a sentimental meaning for me because for Irish people, we didn't have a lot of representation on American animated TV series when I was young. So it was great to see a fine Irish young woman be the leading character in a major show. Every week she would help her 4 Italian friends and their weird father in their weekly battles against the voice of Will Smith's uncle from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Why, it's April O'Neil!
April O'Neil, this one's for you. English wins. It's 2-2. English won the last round, so it's English's turn again. We're on to the 5th month, May. The word May comes from a Roman god, Maya. The Roman god Maya shares the same name as the Greek god Maya. I'm starting to get the feeling that the Romans borrowed a lot of gods from the Greeks. It makes sense with the Greek lady, because the Greek goddess Maya was the goddess of fertility and spring. That's quite appropriate in May, when we see a lot of increase in growth. The name Maya comes from a root word meaning mother, nurse or midwife. The goddess Maya had an affair with Zeus, the boss of all the gods. Together they had a son called Hermes.
Hermes! Hera!
The Romans knew him as Mercury. I only mentioned the guy because he was probably the coolest of all the gods. He was the god of language, and among other things, he basically invented music. May in the Czech language is Květen, which probably comes from an old Czech word květný, which meant flowers, květení, blooming with health and strength. May is a cool month in the Czech Republic because it contains 2 public holidays, on the 1st and the 8th of May. However, in Czech Republic, if these holidays fall at the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, they do not move to the following Monday. You lose them. Tough luck, Czechs. May 1st in the Czech Republic is the Day of Love. The Czech people do not celebrate St. Valentine's Day with the exception of my wife, who has gotten used to getting flowers and chocolates on February 14th and expects this to continue. The Czech Republic, the Czech people on May the 1st celebrate love by finding their partner and bringing them to a cherry tree and giving them a big kiss. This time I've got to give it to the team with Hermes on it. That guy rocks. Plus, Czech wasn't using much imagination with the flowers name. This competition is really hotting up. The mercury is rising. It's 3-2 to English. English triumphed in the last round, so let's start with English. We're on to the 6th month, June. The word June comes from the goddess Juno. She was the wife of Jupiter. Zeus and Hera were their Greek names. She was the goddess of childbirth, marriage, fertility, divorce and Tinder. So she did a lot. She was also the mother of Mars, so responsible for the month of March also. June is a hot month. The most famous June I found was Johnny Cash's wife, June Carter, and she wrote the hottest song ever written. June in Czech is a lot more fun than a burning ring. The Czech word for June is Cerven, probably coming from the Czech word červený, which means red. In June, of course, you can see a lot of red fruit all over the place, like strawberries, cherries and raspberries, a lot of other red flowers bursting into life. So they chose the word red for the month. Why not? Nothing wrong with that. There is another theory, of course, and this one I prefer, is that the word Cerven comes from the Czech word červ, which means worm.
Worm!
It means that June in Czech Republic is worm month. Now I know what you're going to say. Earthworms already have a day. It's the world famous October 21st. But in this country, Czech Republic, they have a whole month. So now I need to choose a June winner. All due respect to Mars's mother Juno and June Carter Cash's Ring of Fire, but the worms have it. Worm month wins. As we reach the halfway point in this language battle, it's all square. If you're interested in the kind of topics I've discussed in this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more similar videos.